Welcome back to the Realist Reviews. Today's review is focused on Dave, Season 2, Episode 10, the Season 2 finale of Dave, entitled Dave. And the official synopsis of Dave is, with pressure mounting as he records his debut album, Dave has some decisions to make about what he's willing to sacrifice. And before I give out my episode review and recap, please like and subscribe and comment and tell me what I should review next. And I would say this season finale, it was a good season finale. A lot of crazy things, definitely tense at some points happened, but the ending itself was definitely sweet, awesome in my opinion. And if this show does come back for season 3, I'm all for it. So here's my episode recap and my episode review. So the episode begins with just Gator in the recording studio of his own, recording music and everything. And it shows Gator talking to his family. And it seems as if like Gator somewhat gets along with his family. But his mom makes an announcement that Gator's sister is going to be like included on the mortgage if something were to happen to his mother and everything. And when Gator finds this out, he is pissed off because he's like, why is she on the mortgage when I'm older than her? But then basically Gator's sister says that he don't got no job, he ain't doing nothing. Gator and his family have like a huge argument about how he's trying to become a successful artist and everything. And so, long story short, Gator leaves the house. And apparently, Gator's real name is Dave as well. Ain't that something? So then Dave, he is on top of a billboard trying to promote his debut album entitled Peanut. And it's not going so well. A lady tries to talk to Benny Blanco and Mike, who's there to help Dave and everything about if they have whether or not Obama phones. And Mike is like, we're not selling phones, lady, but we did vote for him, which was a little bit funny to say the least. Dave continues to promote his album with little to no success. Benny Blanco goes on live, and I think it seems as if like Dave has to get pulled down from the billboard, and not good to say the least. So then later on, it shows Gator, he is talking to somebody about different things. Apparently this guy owes him money, as Gator has been selling folks like tickets to like Dave's album party and everything else, trying to like make a hustle and that kind of stuff. And apparently when Dave released his debut album, Ariana Grande released a surprise album as well. And with to like little to no promotion on Dave's album, it placed on 91 out of 100 out of the Hot 100 Billboard. Gator, he does his best to be supportive, but at the same time, Dave is just very frustrated by his record label, as they didn't put in no type of work to help promote and market the album. And so the record label and Dave continue to talk for quite some time, with Gator continuing to try to like help out Dave with showing support and encouragement, and as well as Mike. But Dave and Mike and the record label, long story short, the conversation, it doesn't end on bad terms, but it doesn't end on good terms either, as Dave just leaves the interview just like that. So then the next scene we see is Dave. He is playing the piano, performing a song, and then he gets knocked out. And then long story short, it turns out that he is doing rehearsals for the MTV Music Awards and everything. And we're getting the news that he's going to have to cut his performance short by a couple of minutes. Dave, of course, is very unhappy. And he decides to get a very weird idea of having actual surgery on stage on his genitalia. And for some reason, Mike was like, this is the best freaking idea you've ever had. Els, he doesn't say anything, but tries to be supportive, I guess. And it happens. Well, that part, the surgery doesn't happen, of course, but it's about to happen. So then meanwhile, Gator, he comes on the set with a couple of fans from Dave, trying to like see if Dave will talk to them and everything. And Dave basically kicks them all out, except for Gator, of course, who's not happy. And then long story short, Gator shows his frustration with just kicking one of the front windows of a car. In this episode, Gator has definitely tried to like be there for Dave, try to just motivate Dave and everything, but every time he tries to do something, Dave just knocks it off and all that kind of stuff. So then Mike and Dave are talking until Dave receives a phone call from Gator's mom about how he hasn't came home and how he brought a different car and everything, that kind of just different types of things. And Dave tells Mike that Dave gave Gator over like $8,000 and everything. And so the next day we see that Gator is at home having a good time with himself, dancing. And Dave is worried that Gator might be suffering through a maniac episode and everything because of his mom, what his mom said. And a crazy, huge argument ensues between Dave and Gator. And it's been coming for a very long time, in my opinion, because Gator throughout the entire season has been there for Dave, has always tried to help out Dave, always trying to be like supportive for Dave. Whenever Dave was just going through something or then messed up or whatever, Gator, Mike, and anybody else was always there for Dave. And some of the things that Gator was saying was making a lot of sense, and he had a lot of different points with what he was saying. And it turns out that Gator was making his own music video with Elma shooting. And once Emma arrives, the two continue to briefly argue until Gator eventually kicks Dave out. I never thought I would see the day with Gator and Dave having an argument, but it happened, and I thought that something worse was going to happen within that argument, but thankfully it didn't. So then we see Allie, who was at home watching TV, and she has a new man, and they're just talking, eating popcorn, watching the VMAs. Emma, she's in I would have to say her job in an office somewhere. She is watching the VMAs as well, and also just editing Gator's music video. And we see Benny Blanco and Dave's parents in the audience to be there for Dave for support. So then before Dave goes onto the large set and everything, he talks to Mike and Els about how he's just thankful and just glad that they always been there for him, just showing just his support, just showing his gratefulness and everything. Allie also sent him a text message for good luck and that kind of things. And it turns out that Dave did not get the surgery, as that was completely scrapped. And instead, Dave and Gator perform on stage together, different songs, and everybody is happy. Like the audience is happy. Emma, Allie, Dave's parents, they are all happy. And so it shows that Dave and Gator going on tour together and just performing different songs and that kind of things. And that is how the episode ends, and as well as the season. And I would have to say that this season finale, it was a good season finale. I did enjoy it a lot. It had its good moments, it had its serious moments, and just the ending itself was really good. I would say some of the things that I enjoyed about this season was that, to me, I felt like this season was more experimental with some of the episodes, with a lot of them being really good, but others, such as episode 3, just being really, I'm not going to go there. I really did enjoy Gator's performance in this episode, as Gator is the type of friend that everybody should want. Always there for support, motivation, to help people out. Like Gator, he's a real one. Dave, I felt like Dave throughout most of the season, he was definitely like more arrogant, more more of an a-hole, to say the least, with some of the things that he did. But I would say by the time the season was over, he definitely did have some redeeming qualities, and I don't know what's going to happen within season 3. I would say for some of my predictions of season 3, if it does happen, is that I would like for them to have like a couple of episodes with Dave and Gaeta on tour together and just showing the ups and downs of what's happening. Maybe one episode of probably Dave, just like how Dave is handling his new profound success after the ending of season 2, and just how it is now to be like a famous artist. But I would say with out of all, Dave season 2 was a really good season. Crazy, dark, shocking, surprising, sad. Like it was just filled with just different emotions with just all of the 10 episodes. And this is the end of my review. I would say thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.